Hi everyone. Welcome back. This is the new series we are starting, and before I move into this new series, I would like to thank all of you who have been watching and who have been supporting us for our previous series, which is Milo Hindustani Se. This time we are back with a new series, which is 100% dedicated to volunteering, and this series is also special because this series is when it's dedicated to volunteering, but also it's dedicated to Bhumi. Right, I started my volunteering journey with Bhumi, and also been volunteering with Bhumi for a good long time, and now working full time. So this series of multiple stories will be from friends who have volunteered with. Sure, this series will be interesting for all of us. Uh, and this series has a special twist to it because here in the previous series we had only one person joining, but in this series we'll have two-person joining in each episode, which is a which I'm very excited about because I'll be able to talk to more friends whom I am not able to connect for last few years. So the intention of this series is to bring out the struggles, the journeys, the learning, the successes of the volunteers who have been volunteering with Bhumi for a long time. Invite our guest for the day. It gives me immense pleasure to invite both of these fellow mates, fellow volunteers, mentors, uh, and I have learned plenty of things from them, not just in professional life but also in personal life. I invite Ganesh and Matpal to join us for today's conversation. Hello, hello.
Hello, hello.
Hi, Akshay.
How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
All good, all good.
I am doing great. Before starting the conversation, I would like to thank both of you for joining in with just one call. I was very much sure that you guys won't tell me no, but still thanking you. And I hope this conversation will be fruitful for all three of us and for people who will be listening and seeing this conversation. So thank you guys for giving your time. Where are you guys right now? Like, where Ganesh? Where are you right now? And how are things at your space?
Good, Akshay. So I basically work in Bangalore. So it's in a work location with all this pandemic and work from situation. I'm currently in my native place, a city in Tamil Nadu called Ero. Yeah.
Thanks, Ganesh. Matpal.
I'm in Bangalore. I'm working out of office, so I have to be in Bangalore, and I'm glad that I'm in Bangalore.
So I would like to start from your childhood journey, right? Where did you do your schooling, and how was your childhood like?
So I was born, brought up in Chennai, even though my family belongs to UP, but I was born, brought up in Chennai, lived all my life in Chennai, schooling, college, everything. Uh, Not most of the people know that I was named after the word or the city called Madras. I was supposed to be called as Madhpal, but eventually it became Mathpal because there is no the sound in my name, and that's how I was named. It was just a very funny attempt by my dad to name me after Madras because he loves Chennai way too much. And living in Chennai and growing up in Chennai, I think I'm more of a South Indian than a North Indian. The only North Indian in me is just the name. Other than that, is I'm a pakka South Indian boy. And having grown up in a family where business was the only thing which they ever did, apart from the agriculture, of course, but my dad has been into the pani puri business, which all my friends, all my other people who know me, they know that okay, I'm crazy about pani puri, and that was the thing I also learned apart from the school also, right? So and when I got into college, I did not know anything else, and having not knowing anything else, having not knowing what to do, that's how I landed up in volunteering as well. Maybe I will start that story after Ganesh tells about his childhood.
I'm from city, as I mentioned before, I'm from Ero. Okay, schooling, everything has been done here. Okay, both my youngest among the three siblings, I always had a freedom to do what I really want to study, be it volunteering on all those aspects. So for the graduation, I choose to go and explore outside my city. That's when I landed up in a college, Velamal College in Chennai. Yeah, it was like after 2 years, I realized like I came out of hostel, I wanted to do something to the society on the education sector, and that's how my volunteering journey started in 2013. Yeah.
Wow. So before moving into volunteering journey, what did you study in college?
I did my engineering.
I did my commerce graduation from Loyola.
Wow. So how did if I'm not wrong, both of your volunteering journey started in your college life, right?
Yes.
And so before moving into full-time volunteer, were there in your school days, were there any experiences where you volunteered unintentionally without even understanding the term volunteering as such? Is there any such incident?
I would say my first volunteering experience started in 8th grade. Yeah, so there was this camp that was organized in an challenged home, which is far away from my city. So I thought it was like a picnic. So that's how I signed up to be part of that. They said they'll take us to a home all this. So I signed up for it. But eventually, when we landed up there, it was more like a NSS camp. We had to remove all the we had to clean up the entire shelter home day. Okay, it was one tiring day, I would say, but in the end of the day, the happiness was there. So we cleaned up the entire shelter home with me and my friends over there. And then my second volunteering experience as part of, I was part of Red Ribbon Club in my 10th grade. So we used to do dramas, go to village, create awareness for AIDS awareness campaigns in villages. So these are my volunteering experience in my school days.
Yeah. Matpal, any experience you have?
I don't remember any such events in my life.
Okay, nice.
I don't think I did anything before Bhumi.
Yeah. Okay. So let's quickly jump to our favorite org, Bhumi. How did Bhumi come into picture, or how did you start engaging yourself with Bhumi? And when did that happen?
I will start. I still remember. I think it was probably my start of my second year of my college, and it was a half day college. I used to go to the college at 12:30 or 1 o'clock and come back at 6 o'clock, and it was getting very, very, very boring for me. And I look up to Google and I search something called as things to do on a weekend. So and there comes up an article where 5 best things or 5 top things to do over a weekend. Obviously, the one of the word which integrated me was volunteering, and then I had never heard about that word volunteering in itself. Then I was like, okay, what is volunteering? That was the second question which I asked Google, and so then obviously I read about Google. Then the third question was where do I do volunteering in Chennai? And there were, I think, probably there were 3 NGOs which came in the top, which was Make a Difference, MAD, Bhumi, and I am not sure about the third one. I think probably it was Cry or someone. I am not really sure about it. But then I had just filled up the signed up and filled up the register forms. I think Bhumi was the first organization which responded back with an orientation date, and that's how I came to the orientation. And at that particular time, again, I was very, very. I used to be a very, very introvert guy. So I was just, and I was very young as well, right? I think I was around 20, and all the volunteers over there were, I'm sure, easily around 24, 25. Like everyone was elder to me. And I was very surprised to see, okay, there are so many young people, this, that, and I really didn't have any idea what I'm signing up for. And when they asked me for my interest, I thought I said I will just go, because they asked me whether would I be interested to teach English, math, science, and I was pretty sure that I can't teach any of those. And the only project or only thing which was left out of that was life skills and mentoring. And they had told me that no, we are looking college passed outs or people who are only working professionals who can get into that project. And I still remember it was Vaish out there who was sitting and doing the final check on the form. And I told Vaish, I'm pretty sure that I can't do those things. Why don't I just try out in the mentoring thing? And I think she just wanted to get away with that conversation, and she put me into Lakshya, into this thing. And she was like, okay, you are into this Lakshya, because I was so pasteurizing her. And she was like, okay, fine. You are into Lakshya project, and that's how I got into the project in itself. And after that, the journey started. I was put to the Balamandir Center in T Nagar, and that's where I go to that center first, and I start my volunteering experience. And there I meet Sriram. Sriram is the center coordinator, and that's how I met this guy as well. And I think probably it was around October somewhere, and where I started the volunteering. And and the first initial 2 months where Sriram was just like, okay, whatever you had to do, whatever you have inputs, just give your inputs, just be yourself, there's that, help us out. And I started liking it. And I obviously it was fun to do, plan the sessions and everything, come up with new group activities, prepare for the closure statements and everything. And that's how it all started. And when kids started responding back, I think that's when I started liking it even more. And I think it was after the couple of months when I started getting this feeling that, okay, it is not about me teaching stuff, or it is not about me telling them something or making them to learn. I think it was the reverse thing which was happening. I was learning a lot. I was learning like how humble I am, or what are the other traits which have been there in me which I've never known about it. How good I am in terms of explaining some things, or how good I am in telling stories, because I never knew that I could tell stories so easily and people could listen to me. And I also came to know that I am a good listener as well. I had never known these things about me, and it all thanks to those kids, or all the kids since I have been in touch with. And when I got that feeling, okay, there is more to learn, there is more to teach, there is more to everything else. That's when the passion started in me. Okay, then the passion for volunteering came in after those 2 months. And obviously, it's also the fellow volunteers who teach you that, okay, you can do this, can you try this, can you do this. And it always made me to look forward to something more always. And that's how it started. So there were two things which were happening simultaneously throughout the volunteering journey. One was the kids. You always get to learn so many things from the kids, and also you also get to learn so many things from the fellow volunteers. So I have so many stories around these two aspects. But yeah, so this is how I started my volunteering journey.
Wow. Ganesh, what about, is there any different story you have?
I guess I should go next for the next question, because Matpal spoke most of my points. Yeah. So as you rightly said,
but still would like to know, where did it started?
Yeah. So it was in my second year of my engineering. I got a chance to go to a government school in Chennai as part of one of the workshop, from my college thing. So there we went and taught the kids about the basics of entrepreneurship, how it all worked. Yeah. So when I started interacting with the kids, I realized that the education system that they were receiving back then is not up to the mark. The maths or science, it was not that great, that I would say. I was fortunate enough to be in a good school and got the quality education that I deserved. Yeah, so after the second year, I came out of my hostel life, and then I took a room out, and then I wanted to do something on the weekends. As Matpal said, like what exactly to do, and then this struck me about why shouldn't I volunteer? So I searched for like top NGOs volunteering opportunities in Chennai. I landed at I would have reached for like 10 to 15 NGOs like in one single stretch. I wanted someone to call me back, like give me an opportunity to volunteer. So yeah, Bhumi responded back. That's how it all started. I also wanted to go for mentoring program, but then the panel, the like college students not allowed. Okay, then next basic thing was maths. I'm good at teaching maths and I love it. So I went to a center in Nelson Manikam Road. I guess, and yeah, so I started teaching maths to class one. Students, like there are like 5 kids that I usually go and teach, and it was all going good. The one day I went late to the class. One kid was like, "Anna, why are you so late? I was waiting for you near the gate. I was late by like 10 minutes max." It's like, "Anna, I was waiting for you near the gate." So that's when it's like, okay, someone is expecting me for the weekend to give them, to teach them, to talk to them, to play with them. But that's when I got like more dedicated, and yeah, that's how it started.
Nice, nice. So one thing which fascinates me about volunteering is there's a right balance of fun and seriousness, right? You can't have fun every time, or you can't be serious every time. And as I know both of you individually, that you guys strike that balance to the max, right? And I would like you guys to share that how do you balance that thing of when to have fun and when to be serious or committed.
Volunteering, like fun is an essential element when you volunteer for a particular NGO. See, I go teach kids, right? The 2 hours I did, I need to find out a way to engage them. Like if you go and sit and be like study this, do that, it won't be as effective as it can be.
Correct.
Yeah, so you need to find out a way to engage kids. Okay, you need to be more creative, you need to be more innovative, like bring in some fun elements, like more in which kids can easily grasp the concepts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the fun can be in 2 ways. The fun, what you do, what you create, create ambience with with your beneficiaries. The other fun element can be what you have with your fellow volunteers. So that's more important. See, at the end of the day, you need to be more relaxed when you go and volunteer. So the ambience that you create in your classroom, outside the classroom, when you're with your fellow volunteers, is very important.
Correct.
Yeah, it should be balanced. So that I always focus on, like what you do in class and what you do outside the class matters when you're in an NGO.
Correct.
Yeah.
Matpal, any thoughts?
I think for me it was always trying to shift between two roles. The two roles were always that either you be a person who the kid will always look up for you, or else you try to just be a kid around them, and that's where the fun used to happen. And I just used to have like plan my sessions accordingly. So it gave me a chance to be kid always, and also that gave me an opportunity that I could always make the kid in me always happy, learn more stuff, and that also helped the kids to connect well. Because if I don't let my kid outside there and not learn with the kids, then that's never gonna happen. I think that's where the fun element always stuck to me. And on the other part, the seriousness part to it, if you are out there, connect with the kids and then tell them that this is what you will be going to face in future, or probably experience in future. Because once you connect, then they start connecting back to you. So it was always a two-way communication, or two-way strategy being followed. And then after connecting with them, when you tell them that, okay, no, this is very important, why don't you just listen it, or why don't you try it, you have to give something to them, right? And when they take it, they it's not about you telling them the seriousness. It's just that they grasping that seriousness about it. So I think it was always a balance, or it was always a role that needs to be shifted from being a kid, or being the person where the kids will look up to you there.
Correct. And in the fun element and the serious element, one point which Ganesh brought was what's your relationship with your fellow volunteers, right? And to many think many of us lands in a good bond of friendship. And so what do you guys feel about being friends with your fellow volunteers? Do random hangouts or casual conversation offline? How important do you guys feel that is?
Very much important, actually. Like, to be very frank, at this point of time in my life, the people who I talk a lot, who I spend most of my time with, are Bhumi friends.
Correct.
Yeah, and I started bonding really well with those people. See, it's all of it all ends up in one single thing. You are with like-minded people, so you spend most of your weekends with them, like your leisure time with them. Eventually, it turns out that you all like bond and gel together as a gang.
Correct.
Like when you do a thing, like all the like-minded people, so you do working for a cause, and that all adds up. Like me and Matpal, like we all know for like almost like 7 to 8 years now. We started volunteering together, and we still are in touch.
Correct.
So that's all. Like you will end up creating more friends, and the bond is stronger when you volunteer.
Correct. Yeah.
You don't have a choice over there.
Okay, you say you don't have choice apart from making friends, or that's
you
a
will end
mandate.
up you will end up in having a good friendship when you volunteer together with fellow volunteers. That's all. Right.
Yeah. Matpal?
Yeah, I think I totally agree with Ganesh on this, right? Like basically you already have a common thing across the people you are surrounded with in the NGO, right? Like you share that common aspect of volunteering, the common topic on the volunteering, right? So the filtering mechanism is already sorted for you. Yeah, like the NGO has already sorted the persons, and on top of it, you are in a very particular program as well. Like either you go teach something like dance or music or some subjects or life skills or mentoring. So there are more than one common points, and where then you start interacting about it. Then when you start working together, then obviously you get that comfort around it. And once you get that comfort, you start respecting each other as well. And obviously the friendship grows, and when you get that comfort, the friendship, then so basically everything is perfect, right? Like everything is perfect. So and when you have all the boxes ticked up, and when you start spending more time, and obviously you start assuring yourself that okay, these are very good people around us, then we start valuing those relationships, then we start valuing those friendships, and that's how as Ganesh mentioned, now we are friends for about like 7-8 years now, and still going. And even though we don't catch up quite so often, but we know that like as you said, you have to just message us once, and we are available over here. Yeah, so that's how it works, right? So it's pretty good. It's pretty like I always felt that I always felt lucky that I have been surrounded by such good people. But obviously the NGO did the work by filtering the right people, and we are good friends now. Yeah.
Nice. And I don't know, for some strange reason, like I'm not able to connect with my college or school friends now. This is very personal, right? And like in terms of politics, in terms of how you talk in front of public, or how do you behave, I'm not able to connect and sit with them. Like though we can have a gala time for an hour or so, but when it comes to volunteering friend, it has a different touch to itself.
+1.
Important thing which I feel which is okay to being imperfect is leadership, right? It's not like many people say that leaders should be perfect and all those notions around leadership, but I personally feel it's okay for a leader to be imperfect. And what are your take on volunteering leaders? Like you both have been volunteer leaders for a good amount of time, and what are your take on them, and how essential is their role in any NGO to grow?
I never felt that I need to be perfect or I need to be perfect as a leader if I'm taking up something new, right? So I think being a leader in itself means that you are going to figure out something, you are going to set up something, or you are going to solve something, right? If there's a problem to it, obviously there is a problem because people don't know the solution to it, and to bring up a solution, then that in itself is an innovation to it. And to do some innovation, there's no way, right way or wrong way to do it. So there's no perfect leader out there. So for me, a leader is someone who takes up the ownership and tries to solve it. That's it. And it depends on the colleagues, the situation, the environment around there, the kind of problem it is, what kind of solution you would want to come up with. So I feel that whatever the situations or whatever the roles which I wanted to take it up, I connected to it. I connected to the problems and I actually wanted to solve it. It's not just that I wanted to be a leader for a group of people. It wasn't that aspect there in my mind. It was just the aspect of solving something for the kids, solving something for the organization. Because I think when I became a leader, so there were one more thing which was there in my head, because until as a volunteer, I only thought about the kids, what I should be doing in the sessions, how do I plan more, how do I give closure statements, how do I improve my communication so that the kids understand me even more. I used to think I had that mindset, but once I became a leader, I started thinking about volunteers, because till that particular time I never thought about the volunteers, because that's when the importance of volunteers came into my mind. Okay, I think I need to do something more for the volunteers so that they feel safe, they feel empowered, they feel that it's a learning environment for them as well. It's not only about giving, it's also about receiving something in return as well. Because if you don't have that transactional mindset as well at some point, because after a point you might lose that motivation, you might lose that interest as well. So I think becoming a leader taught me or made me to think from dual perspective as well. Okay, if you're doing something for the kids, you have to do something for the people who are doing something for the kids as well. So for me, it was only about figuring it out how this can be sorted in any form, shape, or manner.
Ganesh?
Yeah. So I have my theory of my concept of leader and the leadership is like slightly different. So when you come and volunteer in an NGO, you are a leader. So that's when the leadership journey started. Like, leadership is not a solution, it's not a destination or a solution. Yeah. So when your friends and relatives or your accountants are out there are enjoying on a weekend, you come here volunteer for a change. You try to take it one single step from others. You lead the change. So you are a leader. So when you volunteer in NGO, everyone is leader. Just the roles and responsibilities differ. Okay, when I joined, my role as a leader is to be the change, create that environment for the kids to learn, and then and then my leadership responsibilities change to look after the volunteers. So at one point of time, leadership is all about like you create that ecosystem with all the stakeholders in it, beneficiaries, volunteers, and all the other people in it. Okay, you just need to maintain that balance as a leader to make sure everyone gets benefited. With volunteer, you should be more empathetic. As Matpal rightly said, you should be more empathetic when you teach and when you volunteer, or be it from other leading as well.
Correct.
Yeah, so leadership is about creating balances in the ecosystem so that everyone is deserve and get what they want.
Yeah. And one of the main role of what Matpal brought up, right? Problem solving and my next question is, I would like to know from you what are the hacks, but hacks in problem solving at a relationship level. When I say relationship level, at a human level, right? There are different types of problem. But the major problem I have faced as a leader is how do I solve issues or ego tussle between two individuals. And I would like to know from both of you that what are the hacks to resolve conflict between two individuals?
The different hats, right? The first hat I would say, be a good listener. Yeah, so listening to volunteers between two individuals is very important. You should try to understand like the story on both ends. Like when there is a situation, when there is a conflict, sit with them and listen to them first. Like what exactly? Listen to both the stories. Be empathetic with them. Connect with them when they try to tell their point of view. Yeah. So first hat that you always put on is like be a good listener, observer, listen to them. Yes. And then you evaluate, calibrate all the things in your head, and then try to figure out a solution. Discuss with your fellow coordinators, leaders, or volunteers. See, whenever I have an issue, when I think that I'm not in a good shape to resolve it, I go and ask Matpal and other fellow coordinators. I discuss with them. Like when you discuss with your other people, always be considerate with volunteers who brought the issue. Do not disclose.
Nice. Matpal, anything you would like to add on this?
I think whenever there has been issues or something in between the volunteers, right? I just try to ask them more and more questions. I think I just ask them more questions, and they start answering to it, and they then should get their own answers. And that is something which I try to do, or else then I will just try to make them understand that this is what, or let's say just make them understand why is it happening in the first place. If there is an disagreement, or if there's an ego clash, there's that, I will try to make them understand, okay, dude, it's completely okay to happen this, and this is why it is happening. Both of you are coming from a same belief but different mindset. It's okay. It's okay to not agree on I learned this very late, but I was doing this pretty early as well. So I learned this term called agree to disagree.
Yeah.
So I think so people should be people need to have that tolerance and acceptance in their lives. Ki okay, you can still go ahead, do the same thing, but in a different way. So I think I just gave people some reason to think that okay, it's okay to fight, it's okay to do that. Just get over with it. That's it. I think if there's an ego clash happening, let it happen. Just get over with it. Don't just continue it. I think that was my way of handling it, and people were happy about it. Okay, they were like, okay, I'm also able to do my ego clash, but get over with it.
So next, I would like to like we have been talking about volunteer leadership and everything. Now I would like both of you to share your personal volunteering memory, like one of the best or few best volunteering memories which you like to express now and then everywhere.
As you mentioned before, like I moved to for my engineering to Chennai, right? Like when I joined like college, all my thoughts and planned ambitions were all like finish off your college 4 years, do a MS in abroad, do higher studies, go there, settle there. That's all I was thinking when I joined. Like the same thought went on for like almost 2 to 3 years of my engineering career. So that was this moment in Bhumi where we used to organize cultural fest for children in shelter homes, and I got a chance to coordinate debate. Like it's a elocution competition wherein there'll be teams of 2. And then we'll give a topic and they debate it against themselves, right? Point counter is what we named it. So the topic that I choose for them was like a brain drain in India. Okay, and so there was this 11th standard kid from a particular shelter home. Like he was very fierce, ambitious, aggressive, and his points are like to the point. Like I couldn't even argue at that point. He nailed it. So those points that he spoke back in 2013 like got stuck in my mind, and that changed my perspective in many ways. Yeah, so that's one memorable moment, and now here I am like with Bhumi, like volunteering for almost like 8+ years. Yeah, there are like many things, but this changed my perspective and thoughts, and yeah. That's one. What do
Nice. Matpal?
For some reason, I don't recall any specific incident because there are so many things which has happened. I think uh, so. I have two buckets of thoughts. One is with the kids, the sessions and everything. I think that this is something which I still remember. I think I was asked to take up the take a few sessions at Kovalam Center, where I used to take my bike, go every 2 weeks to like have that morning drive, go to that center and take the sessions for, like, I used to be the lone volunteer, and I used to take sessions for about 150 kids in a very big hall, and I used to do that. And there used to be this Kovalam Panchayat's person over there, all the teachers out there, and they used to just sit there, learn stuff. After the session, they used to come to us as like, "Sir, nalla panninga this that." And I was like, "Nah, enna panna." And you know, I think I still where I'm coming from is that being that volunteer who was very scared to even talk to one kid. I never knew, okay, like, what am I going to talk to a kid and but having to do in front of 150 kids, and all the 150 kids able to understand my thing, even sometimes their parents were also present in that hall and getting to and they also took part in the session activities and everything. I think the kind of things I learned over the few years when I was teaching directly, like when I was teaching directly and being with the kids, I think that moment I recall, because it made me the person who I am today, right? So it is because of the kids who I am today. I'm able to talk freely, able to communicate so well, and understand the importance of communication as well, right? So that is one thought where I take from the kids. And on the volunteer side, I think I have always been excited about meeting new people, as in, okay, like, what is, what is his story, or what is our story, how do I learn stuff from this person, or it's always, I have always looked up to people. And I think it's a range of memory, wherein in every leadership workshop, or every event where we have been together as a volunteer, I have always been fascinated. Okay, this is this person, this is that person. Okay, I think I should talk more to that person, get to learn more things. And it was the other way around as well, right? I think people reached out to me as well, and they were like, "Matpan, how do we do this? How do we do that?" So I think the memories around interaction, the memories around learning, helping each other, that in itself are very good. So I think I'm not able to pinpoint a situation or an incident, but it is the it is the emotion around these two different buckets.
Nice. We are moving towards end of our conversation, unfortunately. But so now I would like you to share what advice, I would say, or what advice would you give to a new volunteer who is just joining, not just Bhumi, but in general, right? Or what are the myths they need to know that, hey, that's false, and you don't have to hold to those myths.
Like, I wouldn't say it's advice, just a thought to keep in mind. Yeah, so do not wait for the change to happen overnight. It takes time. Like, you start volunteering, you go for a day or two, you can't expect change the day, or even after a week, or even after a year, right? So it takes time to you actually visualize this change. It's a very gradual and a slow process. Just be patient, okay, and do not give up till you see the change.
Correct.
Yeah, and whenever you want to work, initiate something new, always think on sustainability. Will this project or solution sustain for a longer term? Think on those aspects. That's
yeah. Matpan?
I think the advice or the thought to keep in mind would be continuation of the Ganesh thought. Change takes its own time. And what I would suggest is that, like, whatever the things you have been asked to do, or which you are going to do, or which you're doing it right, like, do the best out of it. Like, do ask those questions to yourself or to fellow volunteers, like, are you doing the best it can? Is this the best option available? Because you have put in the time, you have put in the resources and everything, and each one of it is very important, right? So just ask those questions. Am I doing the best for today, tomorrow, or something? Because you might not know, you might just discontinue and go away, or there would be some other person. It's just that whatever you're doing it today, just ensure that that's the best you have done over there. And also on the other side, I think maybe this mindset helped me to learn more things in volunteering. I think I never went for the kids. I never went out with a mindset ki, okay, I'm going to do something for the kids. They are deprived of something, this, that. I just wanted to make the situation out there a better situation. That's it. A better situation for me, or better mindset for me, a better situation for the kids out there, or better environment for the kids. I was just trying to do something better. I wasn't going there to solve or to provide something where the kids were deprived of. Sometimes you get in return so much that you feel so humble that, okay, you have been learning more, you have been getting back in more, rather than you giving out back to the kids. So it does that. Just try to do something better out there, which is already there. There's nothing wrong over there. It's just that there are good things out there. You have to just make it better. I think that's the mindset which I always had.
Wonderful. Thanks for sharing that. And I hope volunteers who would like to join now listen to what Matpal and Ganesh has shared. Just one more thing I would like to add is, just come with a clean slate, right? Don't have any kind of expectation that, hey, I'll learn this, or I'll go to this location or that location, and things would be different, right? Different and difficult. Try to be humble with yourself and accept what it is giving you, and just go with the flow, man. It's more important that you don't have to come with the structure that, hey, I'll do 12 hours of 12 classes, and then this. And if 12 classes are not happening, 10 classes are happening, that's fine, right? You have given your best, and just be with that. So yeah. So thanks. This brings to end of our conversation before we move into a quick game. But yeah, thanks for sharing all your perspective and thoughts. And I hope, and I believe people who will tune into this conversation will take away few learnings for them, and they might have their mindset change on certain aspects. So thanks for being honest, authentic, and genuinely sharing what do you guys feel on certain topics. So moving with our next segment, which is this or that. This will happen not simultaneously, but one with, like, first I'll start with person A and then I'll go to person B, more like how it happens in Coffee with Karan or any talk show, where one person will be on spot and next person will just wait for his turn. So I don't want to decide that who will go first. So I would let you both decide that who would go first and second. And I don't have a coin to flip so that we can say head or tail.
Zero. I will go first.
Okay.
Wow, that's volunteering, Matpal. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. This or that. I'll start with the current scenario, which is doing everything virtually, or volunteering virtually, or volunteering on ground.
On ground.
Yeah. Bangalore or Chennai?
Chennai.
Oh, wow. Being an individual volunteer or being a team player?
Team player.
How would you rate yourself in communication from scale 1 to 5?
Is it an interview question?
3.5.
Okay. Why? How is it beach or mountains?
Mountains.
Okay. Indoor or outdoor games?
Outdoor.
talking with a person on a long conversation or sitting with yourself?
It depends on the person, definitely, but but talking to a person for long. Yeah.
Okay, and we know you have done that, Matpal.
Yeah.
we can vouch for that.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. The last question is food or alcohol?
Food.
Okay, wonderful. Thanks, Matpal, for being quick as you can. It's Ganesh now. So
Same
Ganesh,
set of questions are different.
mix of both, new and old. Yeah. So Ganesh, start with you. Erode or Chennai?
Hero
Individual volunteer or team player?
team.
Speaking with the person you love the most or sitting alone?
Love the most.
Okay. Beach or mountains?
To relax, beaches, to explore mountains.
Oh, you need both options. With you, it's beer or wine, or any other option.
Beer.
Yeah. How would you rate yourself in your dressing sense from 1 to 5?
Pretty poor, I would say. 2.
Okay. And lastly, virtual volunteering or on-ground volunteering?
On ground.
Okay, wonderful. That was quick and rapid. I hope you guys had fun. Yeah, this brings to end of our conversation, and I hope you guys had fun. I had much fun as always when you guys are around me. So thanks for logging in, hopping in, and being genuine with your responses.
Thank you.
Thank you. It was fun here as well. Pleasure talking to you guys always.
Yeah,
It was very nostalgic as well. Thank you for that.
Yes.
Give me
thank you.
freedom, give me fire.